So due to request, I have just made my blueberry pie. Let me know what you think, but I think this is possibly the healthiest blueberry pie that you can imagine. It's totally plant-based. Every morsel is super nutritious and healthy. It's also gluten-free, made with the biggest heart full of love. Okay, so let's go make it. But before we do, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment if you like this. And remember, I've got cookbooks. If you haven't got one of my cookbooks, go grab yourself a copy. All right, let's go see how ridiculously easy it is to make this blueberry pie. Blueberries, I'm actually using frozen blueberries because they actually have a deeper, richer blueberry colour. So I'm gonna weigh them and let them defrost for a little bit before I use them. And I'm gonna put some frozen raspberries in too. You can swap out raspberries for blueberries. You can do 50-50, you can do all blueberries, you can do all raspberries, but I'm going to do mostly blueberries since this is a blueberry pie. I'm just going to let them defrost a bit as well. If you want to defrost a little bit more quickly, just get a pan with a little bit of water in it, heat it up, and then just pop them on top and just let them gently soften. That will get your process a lot quicker. If you've got time, just leave them on the side and they'll be ready in a couple of hours though. That's quite a long time though, isn't it? And the other things that we're going to use are about 4 tablespoons or 50 grams of chia seed. This acts as a thickening agent. It's going to help hold the pie together, and it's also a complete protein, super nutritious. The other thing that we're going to use is creamed coconut from a block or coconut butter. This is just going to also act as a thickening agent to hold it together and add that delicious plant-based fat in there. I've just got a hot, sharp, heavy knife and I chop this into little pieces. It just makes it easier to melt. I'm going to melt that now. And one of the easiest ways to melt it is just put a little bit of water in a pan and then put a heat-proof dish in there with your coconut, and then just let that melt over a few minutes. And once these have defrosted, you want to get a hand blender, or you can use any blender, and then you just want to blend it through until it's nice and smooth. If you have the odd little blueberry in there, that's alright too, because that kind of adds to the charm. Now this might be sweet enough for you, but if you'd like to up the sweetness, just add a tablespoon or 2 of coconut sugar. Then also you want to add chia seeds. Now this bit is optional, but if you've got a lemon, you can finely grate the zest of 1 lemon, and if you put that in, it's going to turn it into like a blueberry cheesecake. And then you want to mix it in, or you can blend it in. So the only other thing I need to add in is the creamed coconut. Now if your mixture is still really cold, the creamed coconut is going to set really quickly, so you might want to make sure it's room temperature, or you could just do it all with a blender. I just like doing it with a spoon. I feel like I'm mixing it with love. So let's give it a try. If I put this in now, mix it in really quickly, because mine's a little bit cold at the minute. Oh, that works fine. There we go. So if you do it and it is a little bit cold, remember, you just want to maybe do it with a blender. So you can see there how that's just starting to set already, because it is a bit cold. And then once the chia seeds start kicking in, you're going to get a really nice sort of chia blueberry cheesecakey kind of consistency. So for the base, I'm going to put cashews in a food processor. You can use any food processor for this, and if you haven't got a food processor, you can use a NutriBullet or a bullet blender or a blender as well. It's a little bit harder with a blender. Food processor is great. You can also use almonds, walnuts, or any nut or seed. I often use hemp seeds. And then you want to grind them down. That's nice. Look at that, nice and ground down. Then I'm going to add some dates. Now these dates are already really squishably soft, so I can add them as they are. If you've got dates that aren't squishably soft, just soak them until you can squish them with your fingers. Then you want to blend all this together. So the consistency that I'm looking for is so that I can just about squish it together with my fingers, but it's not too claggy. And then you want to get a tin. This is about an 8-inch round tin. Just use whatever you have available. And then you want to line it with parchment paper like that. And then you want to pop in your base mixture. And then you want to compact that down as tightly as you possibly can. And if you feel like you need a little bit of extra binder on this, because it's a little bit crumbly, this is actually fine. But if you do, just add a little bit of extra like maple syrup, say like a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons. It's just going to give it that little bit of extra sticky togetherness. And the key here is firmness. So I'm just using a spoon to smooth it out. You see how well that's sticking together? And then you want to get your blueberry mixture. So that's already started to set quite nicely, but when I put that in the fridge or freezer, it's going to set to perfection. You just want to flatten that out, and I'm so glad I've got these like surprise little bits of blueberry in there. So just flatten that out until it's nice and even. There you go. So that's going to continue to set when you chill it, but we're going to decorate it. So I thought a little bit of frozen fruit in the middle and a sprinkle of sesame seed over that. It's quite a nice effect. Oh, and how about a little bit of lemon rind? Maybe see what it looks like with some slithered almonds on top. And I thought maybe a little bit of green on there too. So have fun decorating. If you want that to set overnight, just pop it in the fridge and it'll be sliceable. You want it to get really cold. Ideally, you'll pop it in the freezer for a bit. So if you pop it in the freezer for an hour, it should be nice and sliceable. I've had this in the freezer now for probably 90 minutes. Oh, wow. Let's have a little taste, shall we? Oh God, that is so good. You're gonna love it. Remember, you can freeze this, you can keep it in the fridge for a few days. Make it with love. Let me know how you get on, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.